preparing myself. I had a slight interruption in the week. I'm not gonna lie. I had to block my ex on everything. She was like tripping, so
Oh, I'll cut this out.
that
We're
was
recording.
annoying. Oh, bet. Well then, no, yeah. So that got taken care of, and we're good.
Yeah,
But that's an introduction.
yeah. That was not what I was expecting to come up. Welcome to the show, everybody. This week's a cage match.
And it is not gonna be a cage match, bro.
I'm just gonna say this up top because I don't want to give away my position. I took notes on this shit. Like I have.
Okay.
Like
Honestly,
I took this so seriously, and here I'm very frustrated at the way I'm gonna come off because I tried really really hard to come across not as like a hater, but like as critical, and I don't think it's gonna come across. It's gonna come across like I'm hating.
I will say this. Like going into it, because when we first was like, okay, I think this is gonna be like it's gonna be a part 1, part 2 week. Like we can do back to back type of things. I was on the same page. Like I looked up the lyrics and I was gonna like compare them because I know one major thing of flaw is like going to be the lyrics. And
let's not get super into it until after the news because this
right,
is the entire,
I know.
Yeah,
but like I was going to take notes and everything. Like I pulled up the lyrics. I was gonna compare them to other people. Like I think it's gonna be interesting because I feel like both our takes aren't what we think it is.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
I'm not saying you're gonna think it's good, but I don't think like
I definitely have some surprises. I certainly have some surprises.
Okay, we'll get into it because we are literally already ready.
Yeah. All right, let's get through these.
It's a big news week, so
there's a big news week. All right, Purvis, run down the albums coming out.
Okay, we have Megan Thee Stallion coming out with Traumazine.
Was this announced today?
Literally today, like.
Oh, that's why I haven't heard about it because I'm so busy.
That's actually what's going to be some. Like, I'm not going to talk about all the news points, but this is definitely something that we need to like stop and talk about. Do you like the release? I don't know how I feel about the day of. Like, hey, I'm coming out with an album. I know she dropped a single or something, but like, I feel like.
On a creative level, no, I don't give a shit. Like,
really?
As a matter of fact, like the anticipation is like kind of something that gets annoying. Like just being like, God, I want this to come out. Why isn't it?
So you don't want to like wait.
I mean, the other thing though is a rollout is definitely something you have to be a huge fucking name to do. You either have to be like one of the biggest artists like in music, or be like have like a passionate fan base and like consistent critical love. Yeah, like you gotta be one of those things. Like you can't be Megan Thee Stallion can do it, but like I don't think a lot of the bigger names could do it without generating buzz first.
That's understandable. I agree with that.
Yeah,
it's just I don't know. I expected. I know she did come out with the single with Future, and I believe there's one other single. Yeah, so maybe I just haven't been paying attention.
I heard the single with Future, and I think I heard the other single too.
Regardless, I think this is going to be the biggest release.
Not even a question.
Okay, so the second one, I wanted you to go through this because I feel like sometimes I'm on the podcast and like I feel like, oh, I know so much about hip hop, but like I need to like humble myself. And look, I don't know that many people. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know who Black Thought or Danger Mouse is.
You don't know who Black Thought is?
Like, I looked him up when I saw you put it on here, and I feel like I recognize the face. But, like, I'm not even going to front. He seems a little bit older, and I just don't even know where to start. I don't know if I know.
He's the rapper from The Roots.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. He had a long-time collaboration with Questlove.
That I did recognize.
Yeah. So, and Danger Mouse is a producer. He's kind of more of, like, just a super producer across genres, a la a Rick Rubin, than a full stop hip hop producer. Although he did produce all of ASAP's Live Long ASAP, the one with Sundress.
Love that.
Yeah, so he produced that entire album.
Okay, and I am already fully on board.
Yeah, so this Black Thought, Danger Mouse, full-fledged LP, like full length LP. Speaking of ASAP Rocky, the lead single is Black Thought, ASAP Rocky, and Run the Jewels. It's a fucking
that's literally what I was gonna say. I saw the features and I was like, oh wow, like this is gonna be huge.
Yeah, it's kind of an album for rap nerds.
Okay, bet I'm fully going to listen to it. Like you said, there was ASAP Rocky I saw. There was Run the Jewels. Joey Badass. That was another big name that came up. Crap, and someone else. But regardless, I didn't know who they were. And I feel like off the features, I felt like I was lacking.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Like, this is probably the album I'm most personally excited for. But, like, you know, if you were to describe the albums released this week as, like, food, like, Megan Thee Stallion is, like, a good piece of steak, and, like, Black Thought and Danger Mouse is, like, your vegetables. It's, like, it's going to be good. A thinker. Like, a fun thinker.
Yeah. Those vitals that you need. Okay.
Yeah.
So we also have the game coming out with Dramatic. We have Rod Wave coming out with A Beautiful Mind, and we have Royce the 5'9" coming out with the Heaven Experience. I'm kind of on all three of those,
me too.
but I will listen to them.
I've never, I liked Royce the 5'9" when Bad Meets Evil was like good, like in like the early 2000s.
Okay.
But like beyond that, like just never been my thing. Lyrical Miracle guy. The game's cool, but like listen to the game anymore. Like
yeah, that is also true. And I just realized Royce the 5'9" came out with the Book of Ryan. I absolutely love this album.
Wait, really?
Yes, I slept on this. Yeah. The Book of Ryan is amazing. Okay, now I'm excited.
Oh, so you're going to listen to that?
I am 100% actually going to listen to this, like maybe tonight.
What's it called? The Book of
Ryan.
Ryan?
That's like, yeah, it's an amazing album. I swear we talked about this. Maybe I'm just blanking out, but now that I've seen this, yes, this is on my list. I'm moving it up as high as like the other ones. But like you said, the game is older.
Oh, I'll have to listen to this. I'll have to listen to that Book of Ryan thing first because I've never heard of that.
Absolutely.
It's like a relatively recent album too, 2018.
I know. We are going to judge based on this 100%.
Yeah.
Like you said, the game is much older. I saw something about Eminem having a diss track or something, or he is dissing Eminem.
Yeah, he has a diss track against Eminem, and it's like 216 bars long, which is like
that's my only question.
It's like, why are you doing this? Like, yes, that is clearly the winning factor in all diss tracks, the number of bars. So look, I mean, I don't know shit about the game. He was from before my time. He was like big when I was like I was really only into like Kanye and Lupe Fiasco when he was big.
Okay.
I was not fully into hip hop culture until after he kind of fell off. So who knows? Maybe he's still putting out good music, but I don't know.
All I know is that I had a lot of good features. So I mean, that's my weakness.
Should we start every podcast with a lighter flick, like an old Lil Wayne song?
Is that copyrighted?
I don't think so. It's a lighter flick. You can't copyright a sound like that.
I mean, I don't know. Can you?
No, you can't. It's way too generic.
What do you mean?
So, like, let's say...
This is going on the podcast, by the way.
Let's say you copyright... Well, let's say there's a producer tag, right? This is a great example. This is a producer tag. And let's say I'm making a video essay about that producer, right? And I show the producer tag. That would be in a context called free use in the Creative Commons because I'm doing something transformative with it. So I can really it's only copyrighted within that context of like if you're putting it on like the first few seconds of a song.
Okay.
Yeah. And just so you know, when I say I'm a copywriter, I have nothing to do with patents or copywriting.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
So it has to be in that context then.
Yeah, it has to be in that context.
Right. Okay. I follow that.
Yeah. And even that, like, a producer tag is specific, whereas, like, a lighter sound isn't. Like I'm 100% certain. Like if you go on other songs, you can find other songs that have a lighter flick, and it's like, could you imagine one artist being able to like
literally claim the
claim
lighter
that?
clip.
Yeah, like
Right.
it would
Like
be
Lil Wayne is like, oh, I
absolutely
thought
not.
of the lighter clip. Right. Okay.
Yeah, you know. But then again, at the same time, that means there's nothing stopping him from doing it.
I mean, I feel like I don't even know what the process would be because even in the
Uh,
example that you're given, like obviously it's a little bit more difficult with audio because it's producer tag, you hear it as audio on a
yeah,
song. But like when you're writing a research paper, you literally have to cite your source,
yeah, for
So I'm
sure.
curious,
But
like
like a
even
research,
in that context.
but like a copyright is all about like profit and patent, like money. So if
Right?
you're doing something and you're not making money off it, like a research paper, copyright's
Oh,
out the
true, true,
window.
true.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you mean.
Okay.
All a business thing.
All right. Let's go down the singles because we got a lot.
Um, I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's Toby
Nijiwe.
Nwangyi? Nijiwe or something.
Nijiwe.
Okay, he's coming out with a music video or came out with a music video.
Lord
Lord forgive
forgive me.
me. I saw the trailer. This man does not drop the ball.
Dude, he is
Like some of the
so good.
best music videos. Oh my god.
Dude, his videos are insane. And I think his music's great too. I don't
Yes.
think I have truly fucked with a whole project yet. Maybe he should try a concept album. Uh like,
Have you tried a concept album?
but no, yeah, like I've listened to a ton of this guy's music. He's a regular in my rotation. Love this dude. Give me more.
Okay.
Definitely see
Absolutely
him
amazing.
being a name going forward.
Speaking of another name going forward that's going to be really big that I've been claiming,
Jid.
Mr. Jid.
I wanted to watch. Isn't this video out?
The video is out.
I wanted to watch it, but like as I said, I got home from work like 30 minutes ago.
Bro, this song bangs. I'm so excited.
I've heard it's good. I have heard from places that it is good, like just tweets and shit.
Yes, I'm very excited for that. He's one of the people. It was Jid, Smino, a couple other people. Like, please just drop something. um, Another person in Dreamville, Ari Lennox, is back. She dropped the song Hoodie. So maybe Dreamville's going through a little
release
a little
cycle.
run. Yeah, I think it's time. After that, the only reason I honestly want to talk about this, Nicki Minaj is dropping a single, Super Freaky Girl. I'm pretty sure
Oh
this was
yeah.
why?
I mean,
Like
she's still
I
super
understand.
popular. We're legally not allowed to talk shit about Nicki Minaj because out of fear for the barbs.
I know, and they will come and hunt us down. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, I don't. One, okay, the one positive thing I would give her is that they just finished the YMCMB thing, the reunion, and okay, I get it. You're in the news right now. Lil Wayne announced that he was working on Carter 6, yada yada yada. But I just don't like that. Like of all the weeks, you drop on the same week as Megan Thee Stallion. Like I feel like there's some competitive thing to it.
You know, I don't think so. I thought this song was out because I see it all over TikTok. Shout out to Butt Girls. But
Is it
like,
actually out already?
I don't know. I don't care.
I
Like
guess.
it's, you know, it's
In that,
a Nicki Minaj song. You know, it's good. She's a talented rapper, but it's like horny. Like
it doesn't apply.
yeah,
It doesn't connect. Okay, then we'll move on. We have Corday, someone you just saw live,
Corday.
coming out
Yeah,
with a little EP.
yeah. No, this will be
Freestyle
fun.
EP. And then we have Moray, someone we've talked about before, coming out with a single Ticket. We have Alicia Keys featuring Brad Fayez coming out with a song Trillions. Maybe this is payback for her being on the album that just came out.
Yeah,
And then we have Tyga. Actually, I couldn't figure out if it was Tyga songs or Pop Smoke song. But Tyga, Pop Smoke, and Janae Aiko will be coming out with a song called Sunshine.
that's gonna
Is
be great.
do you, and the reason I wanted to bring this up, do you think there should be a cutoff?
Oh, for Pop Smoke features, yeah, it was like
Yes.
2 years ago.
So how is this allowed? Like
I
there's
don't
got to be a
know.
limit.
It's got to be. The thing
As
is,
a culture,
there
we
isn't.
have to push back on this.
Yeah, the only issue is that like, yeah, this is the result of the commodification of art. You know, And also think about it, another perspective to just think about. Because I agree with you. I'm 100% on your side on this issue, right?
Okay.
But another perspective to just think about is, Pop Smoke's family probably doesn't have a whole lot of money. Like,
is this possible?
Or
I can't confirm.
not even to make an assumption about how much they make, but I'm going to assume that Pop Smoke wasn't born into the 1% of this country.
Nope.
And assume
and even after he got his money, he still wasn't technically.
Yeah. And so I assume that whatever money comes and whoever's getting the payment from this, might be a factor in it too.
Right.
But then again, like at the exact same time, like as those words are coming out of my mouth, could be Pop Smoke's family that are okaying this in order to make money. Could also just be like people leeching off his legacy.
Very, very
so,
true.
Like, it's kind of something that only the people behind the scenes know. And the thing that sucks is that we need to know those details in order to make a moral judgment.
Yes.
And we can't. We just don't know those details.
I agree. Moving on to actual news.
Yeah.
I'm depressed, Brandon.
Why are you depressed? Really depressed. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got the fake out of all fake outs this week.
We got a Frank Ocean release.
Yeah.
Of a cock ring for his jury line.
Yeah. Frank Ocean, he dropped a $17,000 cock ring.
This can't be allowed. I refuse.
Because, so I was watching Fantano respond to this.
Okay.
And yeah, he was kind of going off like, this is low-key kind of disrespectful to the fans. Do you agree with that? Especially because he's so in demand.
I feel like, man, it's tough. It's tough. I want to say it's disrespectful because I am myself am very upset that this is happening and it doesn't seem like he's even working on music. But I also understand that, like, as you enter this industry, and we've talked about it before, you just need multiple sources of income. And I'm not saying Frank Ocean needs income, but if his desire is to go into this jury business and design for whatever reason it might be, whether money, passion, whatever, he has the right to do so. So I wouldn't necessarily call it disrespectful because it's not like he owes anybody anything. But it's definitely a little slack.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not a fun position.
It's a little slack.
It's not a fun position to be in as a fan. Because it's true. Like, we are not owed anything by artists. Frank Ocean does not owe us music, right?
Not a thing.
But we also don't owe him support. Like,
okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we also, don't have to owe. And the other thing that's interesting, and I think this is another reason, I think this is the big reason why Fantano said it was disrespectful, and it kind of speaks to, who I am as a person. But, not only is this a cock ring, which is fine. If you like cock rings and you're listening to this, great. But this is $17,000. How many of Frank Ocean's fans do you think simultaneously have the desire and the ability to pay for a $17,000 cock ring?
15.
2
in the world.
Yeah.
That's it. That max.
Yeah.
15.
So it's what are you doing here? The thing is, though, the sad fact of it, and I don't think this is sad, I think this is just true, is that Frank Ocean's music is just so good that it's you can't stay mad at him for this. What are you gonna do? Not listen to Blondes?
It's funny because you literally just say we don't owe him our respect or our
we don't. Yeah, he does not owe. Yeah,
but we're going to support him. It's not really something that we can push back on.
Yeah, but let's say, I don't know, you could support him in by buying a copy of Blonde and then not streaming him and passively supporting him. Yeah, you could literally just buy his music and then never stream it again.
And just so other people can't own it.
No, not so other people can't own it, just so you're not actively supporting him.
Oh, I see. I see.
You know what I
See.
mean?
Well, you still benefit out of it, but you're
You,
not
yeah,
actually
you
like
get his art and like completely morally too. Like you're buying it, you're giving him an
he did sell it
exchange.
to us.
Yeah, but at the same time, then now you're no longer. Yeah, that's it. Like that is.
Right.
But then again, like,
That's a cutoff.
is that really what we're gonna do here?
Right. The whole point of all this is not
Yeah.
how we can push back against Frank Ocean.
It's
The
just,
point is, man, just drop some music.
just put out an album. You put out an
Right.
album.
Just
Call
please,
it Cochrane.
anything.
We'll listen to it still. Like,
Literally, you can make the album cover the fucking dude that you put online. I don't
yeah,
care.
I don't
Fucking
care.
drop it.
Do it. Also, I will say this. Like, I completely agree with everything you're saying, which is why we're probably going to move on relatively soon. But, and this is completely vibes based, zero evidence, zero facts. I get the sense that Frank Ocean genuinely has a passion for things like fashion and jewelry. So that is the one. That is the one thing keeping me from being like genuinely bothered by this. Is that I know this isn't him, like, just trying to suck money out of people, like, and not even the cock ring, because you're not going to do that with a diamond crusted cock ring. No one wants it.
Right.
But like Homer as like a brand, period. You know, I don't get the sense that he's doing it to just make his money. I think he actually has a passion for this. Right. So I think that's why. And look, I have no facts to support that. That is just my vibe from listening to his music and like just the general vibe around the dude. He seems very fashiony. Like
he is very. He's both influenced by fashion and also very integrated into the actual culture. Like we've seen him at multiple fashion shows. We've already discussed how music in general, if you're an artist, you somehow naturally gravitate into the fashion culture world of what you wear and how you present yourself. But him in particular, just like the subjects and the interests that he has and has shared throughout interviews definitely aligns with, yeah, he would drop a diamond crusted cock ring.
Yeah.
Like he would.
And I guess like this one specifically, like, once again, no one fucking wants this, so it's not like he's dragging money out of us. He must have been very passionate about this.
It's very interesting. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So we hinted at these two earlier, but Jid dropping the album, announced the cover,
and the date.
When's the date?
We just had it up. It was at the end of this month, though. I know it's like the last week of this month.
Yeah.
It is on the 26th. So we've officially got a date. I'm extremely excited. I'm going to be honest. I wish I had a list of what I considered my top 5 albums already this year, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to already put it in my top 5, if I'm being honest.
What, Jid?
Yeah, like when the album drops.
That's insane.
Like I'm hoping that it's going to be that good.
Yeah. What's your top 5? You definitely never mind or whatever.
I mean that's exactly what I was about to say. Like if I had a list in front of me, I could maybe justify it and give more validation to it. But I mean, you have Kendrick Lamar is obviously up there.
Yeah.
Brett Fayez for me is up there.
I still gotta listen.
Man, you're
I
missing
know.
out.
I'm going to. I will before the end of the year.
I have not heard Beyonce, so don't kill me for that.
I've heard Beyonce.
It's Almost Dry. It's probably in my top 5.
Oh, absolutely. Not even a question.
I told you I went back to listen to a few good things that if it is, it will be 5. Like it's on the cusp for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if what else would you say? What else has come out? What would be in your top 5?
Well, Denzel is in my top 5.
Yes. And Denzel.
Pusha T, Kendrick Lamar. Me personally, Dawn FM is in my top 5.
Okay.
Then I would have to think about it probably.
That's what I'm saying. Like I got 3 for sure.
I got 4.
Those 3 are in it.
I got 4 for sure.
Did you listen to Two Saints yet?
2 Chainz, not yet. No,
I wouldn't consider it in the top 5, but definitely something I was wondering if
I
you
gotta
would make.
look at all the albums that came out this year now.
Big Crit. We talked about Big Crit.
Big
Would you
Crit,
put that in your
I
top 5?
like Big Crit, but I mean
Not top 5.
maybe at time of recording, but who knows if it's gonna stay there. And to be honest,
Yeah.
like if I'm being if I hate saying like, oh, I'm being objective, but like if I'm making any effort to be objective, I probably would put Beyonce over it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Earth Gang came out this
Oh,
year.
Earth Gang. Fuck, I really loved Ghetto
I know.
Gods.
I know. That's actually
God
for
damn.
me. That might be number 4. But so, like I'm saying, it's. I feel like from what I know from Jid and the anticipation building up to this album, if it reaches up to my expectations, I would easily consider this top 5, close 6, 7. Because it honestly hasn't been like it's been a decent year,
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a
but like
very
it hasn't been
I think it's been a crazy year.
insane. I feel like a lot of stuff has come out, but like not world changing, but culture changing. I feel like I got 2 or 3 out of it so far.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's August.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're like 8 months in, beginning of the 8th month. We're getting there. We got
Yeah.
some time.
All right, and then Ari, we already talked about this, but she announced that her album is finished.
Yep, that's another big one. I think that's gonna be nice R&B, a nice change up. After that, we have one of my Golden Boys. I'm telling you, bro, I might have to get a Golden Boy shirt. And,
Yeah.
like,
I
copyright
think
this,
that's
trademark
official. I
something.
think that's an official like designation for various artists on this podcast now.
Yes,
So Travis Scott, your
the
favorite
one and
person
only.
in the entire world.
Not favorite, but no, I like him. Did you see the video of him celebrating and the pushback he's already received?
No.
There is a video. Now, I can't tell you why that they were there, but Kevin Durant and James Harden was at the concert, and after the concert, it went phenomenal. He killed it. Everything was crazy.
Yeah, I heard about the
Um,
concert.
yeah, he's fully back and in form. Um, after the concert, there's a video of them in the back room, and Travis is just excited. He's celebrating. He's going crazy. He's doing Travis things. And he just like screaming. He starts kicking the door and like pushing it and stuff, and like celebrating. And as you can imagine, he's already received a lot of pushback.
I from who? From fucking Twitter? Leave it alone. Who gives a shit?
I know, but
Like,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I feel like it's super stupid. I don't understand why people do this. I'm so happy for him. He's probably so excited. This album's gonna be amazing.
yeah,
Whenever it does come.
we'll have to see.
He said he's going ghost until then. So
I think
hopefully it's not too
I
bad.
think that's for the best. Just
Yes.
because, like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think people want Travis's head.
Mm-hmm.
But like, the only musician on the charts who's like questionably responsible for somebody's death right now. So,
Yeah.
like, if there's anyone who maybe I don't know about deserves, but like at this point, especially because like the way Astro World has folded out with like litigation and shit. Like I definitely think it was good for him to be quiet, and I definitely don't think there's anything like morally wrong with him doing the concert, and I don't think strategically it's like a huge mistake. But like if I was advising him, I'd say don't show your face until you have a new album out.
100%.
I would have said
It's
like
the best idea for
no,
him.
and in that way, like yeah, he shouldn't have done the concert. Not because those fucking idiots on Twitter are right, but just because like it probably is for the best for him to lay low until after
I
everything
do agree.
passes.
It's just and it's fortunate. This is kind of like hindsight is 2020 because I do agree with you, but fortunately, it went well. Like everything went well in terms of like how the concert is supposed to go, the outcome out of it, publicity, stuff like that, getting the fans ready. Everything went well. So hindsight's 2020. It's okay that it happened, but I do see what you mean. Like ideally, going into this, you probably should have hidden a little bit.
Yeah, you definitely should have. I think anyone like, this is his fucking job, dude. He's a musician. Like anyone on the level of like, oh, this person is like a bad person for having eventually returned to stage. It's just like, come on. But at the same time, like, why even give them that option? Especially because, like, I bet it felt good. I bet he got personal satisfaction out of it. But I think, like,
what's at risk here?
What's at risk here? And also, what's in the bounds of good taste? Because, like, once again, you're the only artist on the chart who is culpable in some deaths, and of children, nonetheless. Like,
right, to add on to that.
And like, I get that, like, the safety of children in this country. There are so many scarier things than a Travis Scott concert, but that's a fact. But I'm excited for the album. I'll listen to the album. And also I do not think, especially with the way Astroworld has played out, like, I do not think it is reasonable to expect for this person to go away forever. I just don't know if I just don't think that's like a fitting social punishment.
You are done with your career.
Nah. Yeah, and okay. Look, like, I do think there's shit that, like, yeah, no, you don't get to have a career and you do this shit. R. Kelly's a perfect example. And yes. Also, just to be perfectly fucking clear, the line is long before R. Kelly.
Yes.
But yes. R. Kelly's just a great example.
That was a given.
Of, like, yeah. I don't know. You'll be like, some guy be like, all right, I guess if you do exactly what R. Kelly did, maybe you can be canceled. Like,
always those people. Should we move on to the biggest news out of all of this? And it will transition us into the topic.
Sure.
NAV just passed 1 billion Spotify streams.
Purvis, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you like hamburgers, Purvis?
What are you about to go with this?
Do you like hamburgers, Purvis?
No.
I love hamburgers, Purvis. And let me tell you, if I was talking about my favorite burger, I'd probably talk about Shake Shack. Probably talk about the region, Au Cheval. You know who I don't talk about for burgers?
Who don't you talk about, Brandon?
McDonald's. Guess who sells the most burgers?
McDonald's. But now,
that's my opinion.
Let me give you this. How often do you actually go like, man, McDonald's low-key kind of slaps? Like, you get McDonald's all the time.
I mean,
you cannot tell me you don't get McDonald's.
No, I do get all the time.
Because it's always there.
I do go to McDonald's. Yeah, there's a McDonald's.
Consistent.
There's a McDonald's on the way between the Red Line and my office, and I go there for breakfast. However, one, metaphors are only meant to be very specific, and I think it breaks down because I don't think NAV is consistent or even like low-key slaps. Like, because that's that's where the metaphor breaks down a little bit. But it's just like, I do not think the number of streams, I think, like, once again, like, the data behind it and who is popular, like, that stuff is interesting to a degree. But I don't think it's any mark of quality. I think that's the coward's way out.
I don't think it justifies him of being any better or having it explain his quality or anything like that. So I do agree with that 100%. Yeah. But I still feel like, in the sense of, this is literally your daily living, this is your job, like, one of your main sources of income is streaming.
Yeah.
I feel like it is valuable to appreciate when someone does hit a milestone.
Yeah. I just don't expect me to praise the creativity behind it at the same time, because, yes, like, once again, like, and this is kind of putting the shoe on the other foot a little bit, because I like this guy, but like, look at Old Town Road. Do you think Old Town Road is like the best or even one of the best songs ever made? Because it's the most played one.
No,
My point.
but I still think it is important because it revealed you to someone like Lil Nas X.
Yeah, sure.
If we're gonna use that example, because
Sure.
Old Town Road like changed so much shit
Yeah.
in terms of like just the culture around having a gay black male being a figure, the whole issue of it being country or not. I'm just saying, this is not the best example. But regardless of any of that, the whole reason I threw this in the news
Is because we're arguing about this today?
is because we're arguing about this today. Basically, what we're going to be doing for the listeners who even care to make it this far.
Yeah.
This week we'll be doing the self-titled NAV album. This is, I want to say, his first major release.
Yeah.
And next week we will be doing an album by Belly. What's the name of it, Brand?
In Zambia.
In Zombie. Okay, so basically what we're going to be doing is 2 album breakdowns. We're going to talk about the album, the artists, our opinions, what makes them good or bad. And then at the end of it, we're going to try to explain why we actually do like these people. I am a Nav fan. Brandon is a Belly fan. I know he does not like this artist.
No,
And I'm
I have a
just not
lot.
very fond with Belly. So if we figured it's the best time to have a discussion around.
Yeah. I'm just letting you know, I'm trying to find Nav on the most streamed Spotify artist list.
He's not going to be up there.
Oh, I'm all the way down in like 600.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
It's not even like it's literally. So, I guess we should just start.
Yeah, no, we're just gonna jump into it. Yeah, start. This is your boy, so start your piece. Court is yours, counselor.
The court is yours. I mean, let's just open up with the history of why I even jumped into it. And the reason I said my takes are going to be kind of different from what you expect. My approach to this is not a great album. Like, it's not. And I'm going to openly admit right from the jump that the ceiling for the rating should be good at most. But when I did find this artist, it was at a specific time in my life where it just worked. At that specific time, I found him because I was doing 21 credit hours at school. I was working 30-something hours as a part-timer at the Blue Store. And I just got out of a 4-year relationship. So I didn't even have time to really process that or think about it. So I just related to music. And there were only 2 albums I listened to. It was this album and Frank Ocean Blonde. And it just simply worked because when I was listening to Frank Ocean, that is like the deepest, purest emotion that you can like listen to. Like,
it's
this
very
album,
raw.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very broken down, very simple, and it allows you to have introspection and like actually think about stuff. Like in its purest form. What is love? What is blah blah blah? Like all of that.
Yeah.
So I had that to rely on. I had just discovered Frank Ocean at that time as well. And then I found this album. This album came out that same year. Everything was going down. I joke about this with my friends, but like my junior year, my first semester, I do not remember.
That's super funny. The second semester of my junior year, I don't remember.
Yeah, like literally. And just because I don't want to snitch on myself, but there's reasons why I don't remember that time period. And these are only 2 albums I listened to during that time. And in the same sense, the way that I approach Nav in this album, it's not complex. It won't overly drive your brain to think of like deeper lyrics or stimulate that part where you're looking for like some kind of deeper Kendrick Lamar, and you don't even have to go that deep. But just a deeper meaning album. This is a very straightforward, polar opposite, in my opinion, to Blonde. It's very broken down, very simple, but it's one-dimensional. It's very straightforward. And if you are going through a heartbreak and you're in like a sad boy era, this is your confidence boosting album because it's literally just roasting. That's all it is. From the start to the end, he's bragging about materials and himself. So this was my yin and yang and my coping mechanism. And it worked. Okay. So that is how I found it.
Okay.
And that's like the full story behind why I actually like the album. Okay. Because I know quality wise it's not as good.
Okay. See, my part of me wants to open up on like the few positive things I can say about this.
Which we don't have to. Like, honestly, we can go through everything.
No, because like part of me wants to open up because like I do have like some positive, like not even positive, but just like, you know, observations that I don't think are slams on the album. But like there are, so, and I do not want to come across as like putting down your emotional connection to this album, right? Because I don't think that's fair no matter what criticism you have of something.
Oh, right. And even speaking on the album, I wouldn't take that one.
But like there are things that you just said were on this album that in the last 3 days I've listened to this album 4 times, twice reading the lyrics while I did it, and I'm like, I don't understand like how you could take that away from this. I don't think there's a coherent thought on this album.
You don't think so at all?
I don't think there's a coherent thought. I think there's barely a sentence on this album.
And so, what are all those sentences about, though?
So let's start from the top, right? Because I will say this is not the worst thing I've ever heard, right?
This is true.
This is not in your face bad the way The Big Day, Stoney, any number of other albums I can go down, you know, Speeding Bullet to Heaven. It is not like in your face awful, you know, the way it is, right? Okay. And I give Dude a lot of credit because he's like the only credit on like a lot of these tracks.
Yes.
So like
this is like his album. That's why I chose it.
So it's
purely him.
Yeah, so that's why I'm so upset that every single aspect of this album is so fucking lazy. That's the only way I can describe this album. It's not low energy, it's not a vibe, it's lazy. Right?
So what do you mean by lazy? As in he didn't put in the effort to go to the next step?
I meant he didn't put in effort. Dude,
okay.
The entire album, the flow is that's literally 30 minutes of this entire thing. There are like rock bands from the 50s with more dynamic fucking like lyric delivery than NAV.
And I do agree with that, honestly.
And like,
believe it or not, I see your point.
And like that was the thing that like bothers me so much about this album is that like I just, you know, you come in, you put in the work, even if I don't really fuck with it, like I'll give you the respect. And like, look, I'm not trying to hate. That's why I'm like trying not to like
just come off.
I'm not trying to come across as hating.
Right.
I'm very trying. Like I'm trying to give this dude any credit I can. But like, am I supposed to lie about my feelings? Like,
no, not at all. And that's actually what I was going to say because even with like going off what you just said.
Yeah.
Like, I feel, and I do completely recognize what you're saying, and there's absolute validation to it. Yeah. Like, it's a very basic, like, structure. Like, it's very repetitive. It's very straightforward. I feel like, in terms of what he is talking about, the value to it, I agree. Like, the value behind it, there's no, like, deeper sentencing structure that makes you think about life, valuable.
No, it sounds it literally sounds like he put together a slightly better than mediocre beat tape and like auto-generated lyrics above it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this,
And that's the thing.
and that's like so like that's why I'm so frustrated, because I'm wondering like and I guess like considering like what you were going through and the subject matter, because like as incoherent and shallow as it is, it does have subject matter barely,
right.
like,
And that's what I'm saying. Like the subject matter isn't a good like deeper subject matter in any sense at all.
but the
Like
thing,
this is a fully
but like,
self-righteous, boasting, not important like subjects.
it's not,
Like it's
but to me it's like not even that. Like to me, like if we're comparing like Kendrick Lamar to a great American novel, this is not a stand-up routine. This is not some guy talking. To me, this feels like the writing exercises you do in elementary school. And I mean that sincerely. Like, like I don't mean that as an insult. I'm seriously trying to describe my frustration with this. It's not that I'm expecting some, like, anything of substance. I just want, like, words that make sense together. Like, you know, I want some, like, literally anything. Put in any effort into anything, right? And that's just the frustration I have, right? And like the other thing is that like maybe now's actually a really good time to like stop and go back to the beginning. And I'll give you my introduction to NAV, which probably explains why this leaves such a viscerally bad taste in my mouth.
okay.
Because here's the thing: my first introduction to NAV was I was hyped because it was on the Insomnia, the album that we're going to be reviewing next week.
Right,
he's a feature on that, on the song Re-Up, and I thought like his feature on that's pretty tight. I still like it. Like, and then I listened to this when it dropped. This is not the first time me listening to this album. This isn't the third or fourth time me listening to this album.
Right.
And just that disappointment of just like, oh no, this guy has like no like talent or skill, and it seems like he has no desire to make me want to like him. Like, but
that's interesting.
You know, like that's just the thing to me. It really reads as like, okay, so can we go for a walk? Can I take you on a walk with it?
Yep. Let's hear it.
I do comedy in the city, right? And I've met dozens, if not in the low triple digits, of people who also do comedy in the city, right? And there's types, right?
Right.
You know, there are people who are like professionals. There's people who are, this is a serious hobby. And even within that, there are types. And there is a type of person who comes from a very wealthy family and is put up in the city, and they think by showing up at the open mics and just like getting up there and saying something that they are like owed accolades or a career.
Okay.
Because they're up there doing the work, which is hard. Like low key, like right now I'm on a bit of a hiatus. I'm not doing the work. But like, you know, these people, they're at least doing that much.
Okay.
And on a creative, and their comedy always sucks because they're not putting any effort into it. They're just like trying to turn it into the equivalent of punching a clock. Mm-hmm. And like I get it, like it's a career,
and it just doesn't work that way though.
It just doesn't work that way. That's how I feel about this album. This felt like he's punching the clock. He has, you know, it's the, at least on a lyrical level, and the production, like, yeah, it's not awful. I'll give you that much. This is not particularly bad production, and like Nav produced back to back too. So like, you know,
based off what you said, I do agree. Like this is a very much a like timesheet type of album.
Yeah.
Like you're literally punching in and out the clock. You're putting in the effort. The only thing that I push back
well, no, I don't think he's putting in the effort. I think he's showing up. I think he's doing
that's what I mean.
bare minimum. Like
you are present and doing what's necessary for it, like to exist and succeed in a sense.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying you have to be phenomenal, but like it is prominent and it like exists in the world and people listen to it. I just don't. The part that I push back on, I don't think he's overconfident, or not overconfident, but I don't think he is hyping himself up in a boastful or a non-humble way, like he's full of pride or anything like that. He's not a very public person on social media. He has not begged people to like him or demanded
Wait,
it,
you mean
even in the songs.
you mean the guy who has publicly thrown temper tantrums about reviews and retired twice isn't a public facing person?
What do you mean?
That like do you not remember like years ago when he went on that Twitter tirade after everyone slammed on one of his albums and he said he was retiring?
I don't recall that.
Yeah,
You're
no,
gonna have to bring it up.
no, like that.
And if it does exist, like, don't get me wrong, but I
Um,
just don't. I don't remember him actually where it was to that extent where he's saying he's retiring.
it
I
was in
never recalled him
2019.
saying that. He said he was retiring.
It's in the Discord chat right now.
Let me see.
Which is like, I'm sorry, but like a fake retirement is like the number one like wham wham look at me, I need attention move.
So I think this situation is different from what you just explained, though. Even though it is still bad, I understand why you'll be upset and why it seems like he's causing for attention. But this is him complaining after he said he was going to quit. More artists started following him because they quote unquote was happy that he was quitting, and then he was upset. I feel like in that sense, you can absolutely be upset with people like purposefully like hating on you, saying that you're going to retire because they wish you were gone. You have a right to be upset about that.
I think you have a right to be upset about it, but once again, it's
Regardless
like,
what level you're at, you
what?
still have to stand up
Yeah, but once again, like the same way that like
for yourself.
you don't you think there's something to be said like why are we thinking about the fact that because it wasn't other artists who were clowning him and were saying that they
No,
were happy, it was fans for lack of a better term word, and like don't you think that maybe that should be a time for examination, like I wonder why people who like to go on Twitter and talk about hip-hop are happy I'm retiring and not sad. Like, don't you think, like, instead of getting mad, that's a moment of self-reflection?
I understand where you're coming from, where this should be an opportunity for to go like, okay, is this really for me, or does this needs to be like shifted in another direction
And,
or changed and whatever it may be?
yeah.
But in a sense, like as a creator, I feel like of all people, you would understand like you should not focus on the negative reviews in a sense to where it destroys you and then ends your career. You shouldn't let another person's opinion on you ultimately make you want to not do it anymore.
Oh, I totally understand, right? I get that. Like, you shouldn't let other people's, like, opinions bring you down. But I think there's something we said about, like, should you engage critically with them? Right?
Do you think he was worse going forward afterwards?
Say that one more time.
So saying he needs to self-reflect and improve on certain aspects, if that is what should be done after you receive such a reaction from the community in this sense. I feel like he didn't go downward or stay stagnant. If anything, throughout his career, and not saying he's amazing in any sense, but he's actually improved from the album that we have here.
Well,
Like some of
I
his
would
more recent ones,
I would sure
it's
I would
in an
sure as
improvement.
shit hope so. You know, but like my thing is, look, I'll say this: I don't think he's gotten worse. Like, like I don't know how much he's improved because I've heard the single he put out 2 weeks ago. To me, you could have taken that verse and put it on this, and I would not have been able to tell the difference.
No, that's actually going off that point. Because
Yeah,
that was another big thing that I wanted to actually cover.
yeah.
Because we've kind of touched on it already, but it's the idea that this was serving a purpose. Like to say there isn't a cohesive thought or a certain theme, I don't think that's fair because it is all very one structured and he's been consistent, even if it's not in the best sense throughout his career. And I looked up lyrics comparing both him himself on his albums and him on features. It is essentially all the same thing. So I just feel like there's some cases
I need you to
in
unpack that a little bit for me.
I feel
Because
like
like
it's being more harsh on him in his own album because I feel like his delivery, his subject, his everything about him is the exact same regardless of where he's at. So he's consistent in a sense where like what you get on this album, you're gonna get on his other album and you're gonna get on the feature. So I feel like in a sense, because it is so much into one, you have 30 minutes of the same crap that I will call it crap sometimes. It's overwhelming and it's too much.
yeah.
Whereas other senses, you've heard them in features, and you just said like
Yeah, no,
I could
that's
just place them in the exact same, but like these are good songs. They're not bad songs in any sense.
well. First off, I'm gonna push back on that. I think I think pretty much every song on this is kind of bad. Like I actually think like
I meant the features.
oh the features, yeah,
sorry.
sure. And there are even other features I like from Nav, mostly on Belly songs.
But and that's what I'm saying
Yeah,
though. The
and like
lyrics
look,
are the same there and here. It's just on a belly song.
well, one no, like I completely disagree because on those Belly tracks, he's at least switching up his flow a lot more, and you can call that consistent if you want. I call that stale and uninspired. Like
Which is fine.
you
Yeah.
know,
And
like
that is very fine.
and
That's why I don't
that's the
like the
one.
baby.
Yeah, that's the one. I think. Yeah, I actually think the baby. I don't think Nav is like as in your face awful as like the latest the baby stuff. But like I do think in terms of like oh my god, it's the same exact thing over and over again. Like I think he is as bad, if not worse, than the baby. Like in terms of just like is this like I don't know what's going on, you know. And the exception is features, even though I think his feature on Astroworld is not good. I'll give it this though. I did, you know, like once again, I don't think there are any like truly terrible tracks on here. Like I'll give you a perfect example. I was listening because seeing as we're doing the back and forth, I was listening to Belly too, and Belly has this song with Travis Scott.
Okay.
It's the worst shit I've ever heard. Like it is.
He said the worst.
Worst shit I've ever. Undeniably worse than every single song in this album. Like,
Okay.
like I want you to understand everything I've just said about this album.
It's worse.
It's worse, right?
Okay.
Like,
I get it.
it's not on the album we're talking about, right? And just like
Yes,
you know,
I know.
for example, this is not a little Xan. This is not a 6ix9ine. You know, but like, here's the thing, man. Like, I just feel like I feel like anyone with any passion for the art form, like, could lock themselves in a room and like make something better than this. I actually 100% believe like if someone gave you the beats, I think you could make a better album than this, Purvis. Like,
Maybe. Maybe.
like no like, and I want like maybe not me because I am very musically untalented. Like
I have my moment, so
yeah,
maybe.
yeah, but like I am, you know. So that's it. And it's like, look, I'm not trying to hate, but the thing is, like, I listen to this album and like I just have like a very negative reaction to it, and every time I go back to it, I mean, once again, like the only sense in which it has aged well is just that I have heard so much worse shit since this has come out. Like, you know, like this is not a Little Pump album.
It is not.
You know, but it's just. But like at the same time though, like you listen to a Little Pump album and it sounds like at least he's fucking happy to be there. It sounds like he's at least
He is happy to be here.
or not even happy to be there. It sounds like he's trying to do something. Like once again, like this it sounds very like phoned in. Like that's probably the phrase I would put in. It's just like it sounds very inauthentic and phoned in.
It's going through the motions.
Going through the motions. Yeah, that's it.
I guess I should ask then, because I know, like, and this is, we've talked about it before in the most recent weeks, but like, obviously, the biggest part of being in the hip hop genre is the lyrics. It's the way you write your raps, it's your flow, everything that goes into it. So, yes, lyrics are huge.
Yeah.
Besides the lyrics, is there anything that you actually don't like in the album? Because, and the only reason I ask that, and I know it's hard.
Okay, you said lyrics, but are we counting performance and delivery as well? Because I think those are atrocious too.
Okay, so speak about that then. Do you think the delivery is atrocious? Why?
Well, it's that one delivery. It's the one thing we went over earlier. It's like da da da
Right.
da 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 da. And like, look, I listened to the Belly album we're gonna be talking about next week, and it's just like the way he switches it up all the time. It's like, holy shit, this is just like immediately super engaging. And to me, like, look, maybe he could have gotten away. Like, if he had if he had great lyrics, right? But he had like very low energy performance and very stale, extremely stale delivery, I could probably give it a pass. If he had one of the three things, I could probably have given it to him. But like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't think in any of those regards. I think the production, the beats themselves are not bad. I don't think they're anything special.
No.
No. I think you could probably find anyone in any given city making better beats than this. In the same style too. Because that's the other thing, is that like I think because NAV kind of exists in this vibey cloud rap space, I think
It's a very one-dimensional thing.
it's not even that it's one dimensional. I think a lot of people who are fans of that like subgenre, they defend it against criticism by saying like, well, it's just the vibe. But my thing is that like I can't think of okay, no, there are worse vibes, but like there are so many better ones, right? Like I just don't think this is like a particularly compelling just vibe, you know? Like maybe if he just like did some interesting shit with his delivery, it might have sound cool. But like and I don't think that's too much to demand from an artist on XO on my favorite label. Like
Right, like this is basically family beat.
this is my favorite. This is my favorite label. Like is XO, and this is what I
I
got.
think, and I understand where you're coming from. The delivery is not the best. I just feel like,
It's not even that it's good or
at least
bad.
in
It's just
terms
it's the
of
same thing. You know.
right,
It
at least in terms of the producing and things like that, like I personally push back a little bit on that because I feel like this is not a very one dimensional beat. Like obviously it does exist in that subgenre that you mentioned where it's almost like a bubble. I won't say it's one dimensional, but you fit within a zone, like you said. It's either you flow with the quote unquote vibe or you don't. And but even still within that area, as I've grown more into that subgenre and listened to other music that would be in that kind of like the spacey kind of zone area vibe, like I feel like he uses all the tools in here. He has beat switches. He does have sections like he breaks down between the chorus, between the verses. Like it's very straightforward within the beats where like he does play with it a lot. I don't think these are just trash producing beats at
I
all.
don't think they're
Or not
trash at
even
all.
trash. I think they're at least good.
I don't. I think they're fine. I don't think there's good, sure, but not special. And I mean, once again, I don't think beat switches are good just because they exist. But once again, I don't think the production is like the worst thing in the world on this.
That's probably the best part, would you say?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't I look, I don't think Nav is a out and out uh like bad producer. He
But he will
produced
not make our producing episode.
no, he didn't. Look,
Exactly.
you're the one who brought this up, and he was not even mentioned. Like the episode.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I would not put him in our producer episode.
Yeah.
We had way bigger names. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
So I'm gonna say two things. One,
Okay.
there is a song where there was like a glimmer of hope.
Okay.
But here's the thing, like, because I'm going back 5 years after the fact, it's clear this is not the direction he took his career, and that's a shame. And
Okay.
it's Mariah.
Wow.
And once
Okay.
again, it's not that it's like a good song, because it's not. But he's trying to tell a story here. Like, I can at least give him that. Like, on this one song, he's trying to, like, put together a story And every time I listen to it, I'm like, oh, this one is like, it's like, oh, he's trying to do something. You can tell. Like, I think like when you're, as savvy as we are, I think you can kind of tell when when someone's actually trying to do something.
This is one of the
Least
and like you
popular
said, one of
songs.
the it is. Oh yeah, that too. I was gonna mention that, but I wasn't even gonna say that yet. It is the least popular song behind the interlude. Um, so I guess that is interesting in its own right. But like you said, this will probably be the most storytelling song on the album. And not that is some deep story, but it is very from top to bottom. As you said, the rest might just be incoherent sentences that are generated in a random name producer.
I mean,
But like this is actually it
it's an
kind of tells
attempt.
a story
It's an
from top to
attempt.
bottom.
It's an attempt to do something, right?
Right.
I can give it that. I'm not trying to hate. It's just like this is the break, kids. And I'm sorry. Like uh also
I
also
okay,
there was
sorry.
a there was
Your second thing.
my second thing is another negative, and this one is like very personal to me.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is the worst weekend feature possibly ever.
I gotta look up weekend features, but I've heard some bad ones. Let me think about it. Let me think about it.
This is my least favorite one ever. I
Okay,
thought
why? Let me ask why before I
just
even
because
say
it
it.
was very contained. He didn't really have a chance to sing. It was almost like he was like half singing, half rapping, and like it didn't come across very well. It was not a very good performance.
Mhm.
Uh, and also like, and also like, I don't get the sense that Nav wrote the Weeknd's verse, but I just think it's not a particularly good Weeknd verse. And also like, I think like Nav's verse is especially like kind of lame. Like,
Let me.
uh, no, I gotta ask. I gotta ask.
Sorry, go ahead. Go
Like,
ahead. Sorry.
do you think Nav is an industry plant?
I was actually curious. So, describe an industry plant to me. I
Okay,
want
so
to hear your definition.
an industry plant is just anyone. An industry plant, as I understand it, is just anyone who is like placed in a position in the industry because of connections they have socially, whether that's through family, friends, what have you, or because we live in America or Canada, which is just baby America, because of your connection to capital, because you have money, you have access, right? Not to say that I know for a fact where Nav comes from or it comes from money. I'm not making that claim, right?
Yeah.
So that's what an industry plant is. It's just someone who, like Chance the Rapper. He's like the opposite of an industry plant.
Okay.
Yeah, and like think about this. Like, could your first beat be a Drake beat? If you made a beat right now and it was really good, could you get Drake on it? You think?
Could I get Drake on it? No, don't think so.
No. Do you think on your first album you could get Metro Boomin and The Weeknd on it? Although
No.
to be fair, this is post the Drake verse, the Drake credit, so that
Yep.
helps. You think if you made a really good beat, you think you could get in front of Travis Scott?
Mm, maybe not.
Well, that's how Nav broke out, and my question is, right? How did he get on such a major label? How are all of his very very first things such high profile, right? The Weeknd's first like songs you can't find. Like they've been lost
Right.
to the annals of the internet. Full disclosure, like Belly's first entire run of his career, right? The part where you can really tell he's not an industry plant because he was out there and making it and grinding, like you can tell it's there. Also, not good albums. Probably worse than these albums. Really bad albums, actually.
What I would say
But so
is
it's a question, and look, it has nothing to do with his quality. It's just
no, I know. I know exactly what you mean. And I instantly would say no, if I'm being honest. Considering the route that he's taken so far, he did not come from wealth in any sense.
I don't think he came from wealth.
Yeah, so it's not like he had money to make it. or had some larger connection to make it. I think he got lucky. I will give him that. But I don't think that makes him an industry plant. Once he was signed to EXO, is only up from there, I feel like. Even having that connection alone will instantly put you in the space for these connections.
Well, like
The Metro Boomin project that he had with the collab Metro Boomin, there's no features, there's no big features on it. It's literally just a collab album. He got a list of a couple of Metro Boomin beats. That's not some deeper one.
I'm about to send this to you. So, Nav, this is interesting. Because, like, I'm looking it up. It does not seem that he comes from wealth. But, no, this is a huge but, because this is, I think this, I would say, if this is true, this immediately cements him as an industry plant.
Okay, what is it?
So his uncle is one of the most famous singers in India.
Okay.
And he bought him an entire studio.
Okay.
An entire studio.
But that doesn't put him in a position to like suddenly get signed to EXO.
Yes, but don't you think that as you said, he got lucky?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He got lucky, but having a studio does help, obviously, from being nothing.
Yeah.
But like, this does not make you an industry plant. The biggest names that we have out there come from wealth. Like, they had an open studio. Like, obviously, J. Cole, no. He literally lived in an apartment for rent free. Yeah. Like, there's a couple of names out there that are from the ground up. Yes, do not get me wrong. But there's also plenty of artists out there who had multiple connections just because their parents are in the music industry.
Yeah. Yeah. And look,
I don't think this makes an industry plant.
Well, first off, no, I would 100% say, like, if you have family in the music industry and they know enough to get you situated with a studio and then buy you your own. Like, if I liked music and my dad even had that kind of money, he wouldn't know where to spend it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not, it's deeper than that. It's about being in a situation where he can produce these things. This is obviously a debate, but to me it seems pretty it doesn't seem like an independent come up. But here's the thing, and this is important, right?
Okay.
In the history of like recorded music, like, most artists are what we would call industry plants.
Okay.
Right? Like, it is pop artists, all industry plant. And the other thing is, I think they're like, when a lot of people hear industry plant, they think that means that they're not the people writing the lyrics or producing the music. No, I don't think that's true. You know, I do not think that anyone other than Nav is making this music. Not necessarily in a good way, but like, I give him that credit. But to me, I would say, yeah, like, if you have like the access to be able to have your own studio in order to just make beats, like, that's just going to give you such a leg up over everyone else who just wants to like produce stuff. And does that make you an industry plant? That's up in the air. I would say yes, but I don't think it's unreasonable to say no.
I don't know. I got to think about it. I do see what you mean. And like, even being an industry plant, like you said, there's so many artists that technically are.
Yeah.
So it's not like the worst thing in the world. Yeah. I just feel like, in general,
I mean, like, is Lil Wayne
he's been very
plant because Baby found him before he recorded any music and put him in a group?
I mean, it's hard to say. Like you said, it's difficult.
That's like the objective definition of an industry plant. Like,
right, and I know it's difficult because every situation is different, and what they've done with their resources, it's completely unknown how they actually take advantage of what they have. Now that I understand your point of view, I'm leaning more towards, like, I can see him being an industry plant, but I don't think he's had quite the list of benefits that makes him like he's cheating the system. Like, if he was legitimately cheating the system and like doing things that are perfectly set up for everything to go right, like having the right resources, having EXO do everything for him, I feel like he would be even bigger if he was fully using all his resources.
Oh, I completely agree with that. No. I do not think.
So I don't think he's like cheating his way.
No, I don't think he's. No, I do not think he's cheating his way. I just don't think that's what a. I don't think that's what an industry plant is.
That's fair. Maybe my definition.
Yeah. So I just don't see like. Well, no, because there are people who cheat their way. Like, there are people who I'm sure if I sat down and I thought really hard about it, I could like come up with someone who was like, yeah, they were put in front of everyone. They had people producing their shit. They had people writing their shit. They didn't do anything, right? And I don't think that's what NAV is, right? I just think like he was given access to this industry in a way that 99.9% of people like don't have. And I don't think it's an accident that people with access like that are the people who end up getting lucky.
Right. And again, that lines up with what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
I feel like, and the only thing I'll say left on top of that subject, even if it is true, like I'm saying, you could be 100% right. Like he could be industry baby or industry plant. Even if it is true, there's one thing I would give him a pass for. And like it's a meme at this point. But like personally for myself and being a minority, I low-key like it. But like the fact that he jokes about being the first brown boy to get it popping and like that's the whole lyric, that's a joke. It is nice to actually see a different demographic in the game actually making a name for himself. Like he has a whole core fan base that exists just to support him in his demographic. And that's what I low-key like about it. So that will be the one pass I give him. If he is industry made top to bottom and he has zero skill, at least he is a decent face to support that demographic and get him into rap.
I mean, once again, like that is just not what I mean when I say industry plant. Like I don't mean like he was just, he is like a front for like this corporation to make money through music. I just think he was probably given access because people in his inner circle knew what to do. The same way any of us would have a leg up if our parents just knew the business.
Right, like literally was in the business.
Yeah. Well, no, because like I would say that's there are levels to this shit. And I would say, being a singer in India is at least far enough removed that it's not the same thing as having family in the industry here.
Yeah, but it's true.
But it's the same thing as being like, it's closer though than someone like you or me, right? Like imagine like if you were imagine an engineer or something from India, and it's like imagine you're just like an engineer from India, right? You have no connections in the industry here. If you had family here, you would have no way to just snap your fingers and get them a job, right? Mm-hmm. But you would be able to tell them what classes they would need to take to be an engineer. You would tell them the things they have to do in order to get in that position.
The route you need to take. Right.
Versus like if you're a family and your dad's a nurse or your mom's a nurse and your dad's a cop, what the fuck are they going to give you about it? So there are levels to this shit. You see what I mean?
There are literally levels. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree.
I do not think I wish this community had better representation. Just because look, I don't think NAV is like a bad guy.
But he's not. If he's going to represent a demographic, then yeah, I would like them to have like a Kendrick because it ain't a lot of them in there.
Yeah,
and look, if he's a representation, is rough.
And the other thing is that like I'm not going to bemoan you that point at all because Belly's Palestinian, and I think that's really cool, especially given what's going on in Palestine. Like, so yeah, I'm not going to hold that against him at all.
He has a unique perspective that no one else can forget.
I disagree with the narrative that Nav is the first brown boy to get it popping because I don't think he's gotten it popping. I think he has gotten it put to sleep, laid down, taking a nice nap.
I think there's more fans than you imagine.
Oh no!
I'm not saying he has a
I
huge
know
fan
this,
base.
and this is something I kind of want to get to next week.
Okay.
Because one, I'm kind of hoping you put as much effort into Zombie as I put into this.
I 100% will. I'm going to listen to it every day.
Yeah. But the other thing is that just like it is, there are some things in this world that are objective, and Nav is just objectively more popular than Belly. It's not. There is not an argument for that.
Do you think, or do you believe there's a reason? Have you thought about this?
No, not really. Like, I think like it's just.
Again, we could chalk it up to luck. But
I just think
why is Nav so much better? Not better. Bigger.
Bigger. Yeah. No, I think like it's probably has something to do with the fact that his sound is just much trendier.
Okay.
Like Belly is kind of like, slightly more on the line of hardcore hip hop. People who take this shit a little bit more seriously. I think another thing that's interesting is that like the same way that like Nav produces for other people, Belly writes for other people.
Okay.
He wrote for The Weeknd and Beyonce on a song, and won like Songwriter of the Year for it. So it's like, I just think it's the sound Nav has, and the other thing is, I don't give the impression that Nav is a clout chaser. I think this is legitimately the sound he wants. I just don't think it's good. Like, I do not think Nav is doing this sound because it's popular, if that makes sense.
Okay. Well, what I'll do then, I've already made our claims. Made your claim, or made my claim. You made your claim.
Yeah.
What I'll just close it off with, and obviously it's not as simple as like, oh, just do this. If you did want to be like, okay, I want to like it, what are 1, 2, 3 things specifically that you want to change in the album that's coming out? Because he's coming out with the album very soon.
If he can do a different flow on every song,
okay,
that would be great. And also, crazy that you have to ask for that. Like,
no, because I'm just saying, I know you don't care about him, so like, I'm not going to expect you to listen to him.
Like, well, the thing is that like, I don't know, like, I do always try to not get caught down in like my own experiences, right? Sure. So like, look, if Nav put out an album and like I was hearing pretty universally that it was pretty great, I'd probably give it a listen. But let's be real, like Nav does not put out albums and they are not universally considered great by critics or fans. Like,
so I'm saying, like, so that's one thing.
Yeah,
that could help it.
Literally, so yeah, that's the thing, right? Is like, I'm not denying that Nav has a fan base. I think there are a whole lot of rappers who their main fan base are not people who like rap, like the kind of people who are at that Don Toliver show, like, yes. And I think, I think those are probably the people listening to Nav.
Interesting.
Which is interesting to me because it's like,
I actually don't push back against that.
Because I know you're like super into this shit.
And that's what I was going to say, because it's its own, not subgenre necessarily, but like it's its own bubble. Like, this isn't something that everyone listens to. And I have a list of artists that are similar. Exactly. Like, that are similar to this. They fit inside of it. But like, I'm not expecting you to listen to the other people that are like him either, Yeah.
But the thing is that, like, I don't know, like, what artists would you say are most aesthetically similar to Nav?
You know what? I'll come up with a list, because there's actually other people that I somewhat listen to that are somewhat similar, and it might be because of the emotional impact to it, where I view it the same. But there's a lot of different one-dimensional artists that just have a very simple structure that I listen to for that specific reason. And so I would go back for when I'm in the mood for that reason. Otherwise, I'm not sitting here and listening to him like at home. Like, I'm not just going to turn on his album out of choice. I have to be in that setting, in that mood. And so there's a list of artists that are very one
Yeah.
dimensional that I would actually listen to that are similar to that I maybe not the same flow or the same style, the same subject, but the same like one dimension. I want to
Yeah.
listen to this one thing.
Yeah. And it's like, because that's the other thing, right? Is that, and like earlier when we went on that walk with the comedian, like what I really meant by that is it's like, I feel like this is less of like a theme and more like this is just what this is all he knows and all he wants to talk about. And it's like,
It's literally him. That's it.
and like on top of that, and he's like putting zero effort into doing anything else. Like, like he has no desire, and if he has no desire, it means that has bigger issues in and of itself. But it's just like, yeah,
it is what it is.
It's just, look, I've always kind of just been so disappointed by this guy. And like the other thing is, I've heard his other albums. I think the production on the one with Metro Boomin is really good, but
of course, because it's Metro Boomin.
It's Metro Boomin.
But that's why, right? That's the reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, shall we settle this round, my friend? We'd shake hands if we were in the same room.
Yes, we would. Next round, we have Belly. And I think my approach to it, like, I won't dislike Belly for the same reasons you do.
That's the other thing. That was the other thing. And this was something we talked about when we first said, like, oh, we should do this. Is that, like, like, the first thing we said was, like, but you like Belly way more than I like.
Exactly.
Like, you already, like, even though, like, he's not an artist that you hold near and dear to your heart, which I get, you can't bemoan someone's emotional connection. Right. My only thing is that, like, it's, like, hard for me to not see, like, it's hard for me to, like, look at something like NAV and Inzombia, right? And be like,
yeah, they're going to be very different.
Not even that, like, these are equally creatively valid.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, okay. Like, these are, like, once again, if we were going to go to, like, the example of, like, a research paper or something, these are not equal grades with different approaches. You know what I mean? One is, like, a fundamental misunderstanding. Like, not misunderstanding, but just, like, failure to me. And and the other thing is that, like, Nav has his strong suits, but I think if I was Nav, I would just be a producer.
And he could, honestly.
Yeah, because, like, I don't think he's, like, a bad producer. Like, I could totally see him getting better and better and better in that shit and being someone who, like, wants to be better. I want Nav to win. I don't want Nav to be bad. But the thing is that, like, it's like if you're teaching a 5-year-old to play baseball, and it's like, if you want to hit the ball, you got to swing, and he just doesn't fucking swing. It's like,
hell no.
You're not going to hit the fucking ball, genius. Like,
we'll see. We got one coming up.
Yeah.
I will let you know. And trust me, I will not trick you. I will let you know to listen to him.
Yeah. All right. So, you want to start us off with your recommendations? No, Nav.
No. I did none whatsoever. These are some good ones, I feel like.
Yeah, okay. I usually try to do one modern, like, one relevant song, one classic, one underrated artist. I didn't do that. I did all personal classics.
Okay, bet. Okay, then I'll go through mine real quick.
Give me your first one.
I found the first one. Have you heard of Porter Robinson by chance?
Oh, it sounds familiar.
It's actually like an EDM type of vibe. Like, it's an EDM
artist,
really? I think. Yeah, I don't know how I found this song, but it's like one of his most popular songs, Goodbye to a World. It is so good. Like, so good. I don't listen to a lot of EDM, but that one definitely got me going. It's got a lot of different flows and beat changes and things like that. It's really good. I can't recommend it more.
Interesting. Okay, cool. All right, so my first one is ever since Lala, I have been unable to not listen to J. Cole.
Okay.
Especially songs he didn't play at the show.
I know where this is going.
No, no, you don't actually. So
Okay.
I want to recommend "She
Going on.
Knows" by J. Cole.
Oh,
Yeah,
banger.
yeah, she
That's
knows.
so good.
Yeah, low key, like one of his best songs. You know, definitely one of the songs on Born Sinner that kind of highlights where he was going.
Hmm.
You know, because like Born Sinner, it's a good album, great album, even. You know,
You know that's my soft spot.
yeah, no, great album, even. Like my only thing is that it's certainly a little bit more poppier than his later stuff, and I like his later stuff a little bit more.
Hmm.
And it's a little bit of a bloated album, if we're being real. It's a very long album. Uh but man, it's got some incredible songs on it. And
That's
look,
it.
I would say that those incredible songs that are on it absolutely put it in great territory. So yeah, no complaints on
Mhm.
Born Sinner. She Knows, amazing song.
This album has the one other song that I accepted to be Runaway. There's only two Runaways now. There's a Kanye and there's a J. Cole. There's no other ones.
Yeah.
Um, so my next two are actually a walk, if you believe it or not. I'll do the first one first.
Yeah, did the first one.
Um, so I've been listening to a lot of different music that has samples from gospel music, believe it or not.
Okay.
Um, I had like a whole conversation recently with my brother about this, how like there's so many songs out there that artists sneak in like straight up like a Kirk Franklin song.
Yeah.
And people don't really know unless you're like really deeply in that culture. So my first one is Smino, Edgar Allan Poed Up. The end of the
Oh,
song has a little it's literally a gospel song. So man, this song bangs. It's so good. The flow's crazy. It touches my little Christian heart.
yeah.
So I cannot recommend this anymore.
Look, you know, I'm as not religious as they come, but like gospel is just such a rich tradition. Like, how do you not?
Man,
I am
love it.
all for people like putting gospel influences in their music. I
Yes,
all
sir.
into it. It's
It's
great.
literally in the culture. Like it's literally
Yeah,
ingrained in the
yeah,
culture.
no, totally. I Yeah, more often than not, like I like gospel shit.
Mm.
Not all the time, but more often than not.
It's so much different with gospel. It's one of the I feel like gospel and rock do it the best, but like it's better live. It's just better in
I don't
person. You
doubt
get
it.
the choir effect. It's insane.
No, I don't doubt it at all.
But carry on. You can go on with your second.
Okay, so my next one is also just a certified classic, and it is one of my psyops to try and get Rachel into some of the artists I love. And
Okay.
this artist is Mac Miller. So
Ooh,
I'm recommending Dang featuring Anderson Paak.
bro,
This
song
shit is
bangs.
smooth.
Song
Like
bangs.
this song
That
is
song's
so
so
good.
good.
So
So
good.
good.
Dude, and this whole album, The
Man,
Divine Feminine, I'm gonna say
I
it.
love it.
It's a classic. Like The Divine Feminine, it's a
Oh
classic.
my.
Like,
We're gonna have to go back to our Mac Miller episode and see if our opinions changed.
yeah, I might listen to that like right after this because I don't remember it. But yeah, no,
um,
Dang, absolutely incredible.
okay, I vibe with it. I approve. My third one will be another same walk. Got some gospel influence on it. I finally got around to the JPEG Mafia album this year,
Oh yeah,
or EP album. I'm not too sure what he titled it as. He's such a interesting person. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know how to explain him. I don't know why he even exists, but
he's
he has a lot of good songs out there sometimes.
he does, and he does like good production too.
He does do good production. I'll give him that.
Yeah,
But man, is he weird.
yeah, yeah. He's a weird
Person
guy.
and music. But I found this the album, and then Hazard Duty Pay is the title, I
Oh,
believe, to the first song. And that opens up with another gospel influence like sample. And man, it got me. That first time I listened to it, I said, hold on, back up, run it back. I need to hear that again. So it's good.
that's a good one. That's a good one. All right, Purvis, you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I picked probably the best song to have a long drive to. That's not nights.
Okay.
I'm I'm recommending Telegraph Ave by Childish Gambino because of the internet.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with because of the internet tonight.
That's such an incredible album. Is that on our list of things to deep dive eventually?
We can do it if we want soon. Honestly.
I mean, it's our podcast. Like,
we can do whatever we want, bro.
Yeah.
That is a great song, great album. I told you I went and did a classic run where I was listening to all the classics, and because of the internet was on that list.
How could it not be?
I fully support any and every song you want to recommend from this album.
Yeah, no, it's because the internet has to be one of my favorite all-time track.
It's just so much album. Like it's so much that goes into it. It's not even the album. It's like the screenplay that he like wrote and the short movies and there's like a whole story behind it, bro. It's insane.
Totally agree. On top of that, though, right?
He said, "I'm not done."
It's crazy how you get all the depth of that by just listening to it. You know what I mean?
Yep. The music video
of
The Worst Guys had the fucking alien in it.
Perfect.
Sheesh. That man is crazy. Season 4 coming soon. I gotta finish season 3.
Yeah. All right. We wrapping it up then?
Yeah, we made it. I feel like we've covered every angle. We have one more round to get through.
Yeah. All right. Well, rematch next week. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe. You know the thing.
Yeah, we have to say that now. We have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We need to tell everybody.
Well, we are
putting our audios on YouTube.
We shouldn't tell everybody because it's not going to be done by the time they hear this.
You will eventually see all the episodes.
There's going to be an Unpaid Nobody's YouTube channel. We have 3 episodes on as of right now. By the way, the first episode's in 4K. Don't know why, because it's a static image.
Love it.
But who knows? It could be the future of the channel or the future of the show. You know, I think something. You know, and to let the people listening to the end, Isaac, no. Yeah, I think like it's going to behoove us to start thinking of this as a show, and the show can go a lot of different places, as opposed to strictly a podcast.
Exactly.
Ugh. Do you have recommendations weeks out in advance?
Are you looking at the?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I hate
maybe. You. I had to save them. They were bangers, bro.
Okay.
Like I gotta bring this up later.
All right. Oh, you got some good ones in here. All right, guys.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, guys. End of show. Bye. Like.